Am I live? I can't even tell. Ah, thinky wheel. Hello? Hello? Yay! Greetings, one and all. Ejani here, aka Technicolor Priestess. Happy whatever day it is. Yay! So I've just been salivating about this topic and I wanted to talk about it with you. So as some of you have seen around town, I have a delicious mastermind of magic coming up. Doors will be opening on, well, whatever. It begins, the ignition happens on March 1st. And I can't keep my pie hole shut about it. So I just thought, instead of waiting, why don't I just talk about it? So here I am. One of the main things that we will be doing in this really high level, intimate, because it's going to be a circle of 7, in this intimate container, is working on elasticizing everyone, including everyone's identity. Now, what the fuck does that mean? Why does the fuck does that matter? What does it mean? So we all hear about, oh, like we're in expansion and we're like in growth mode and, amplifying my energy, all that stuff, right? Here's the thing though, if you want to like really expand and amplify and start bringing in all the magical shit that you desire, it requires an elastic identity. If you are holding on for dear life to certain parts of who you are right now because they feel comfortable, because you're scared of changing, you're afraid that Bob next door won't like you anymore, or that Amy will think you're a total bitch, or like that you've gotten full of yourself, or that your cousin will be like, you've changed. That was my case, right? Like I was like, she said I changed. Right? If you are holding on so tightly to that, if that matters more to you than really becoming who you are meant to be, then it's going to be really hard to really fully fucking expand into your magnificence, into your full throttle iconicness. Okay? I don't know if anyone's watching. I think you are, but hit me with an emoji if you're feeling this, right? The tighter your grip is on your current identity and all the facets of that identity, all of the little details and nuances of that identity, right? From what you drink every morning to what you order at the restaurant to how you dress and the rules you created for yourself with your outfits that you are and aren't supposed to wear, whatever. The tighter you hold on to that, like the more tightly you hold on to that, the less likely it's going to be that you will expand again into your fucking magnificence. Okay? So I want to talk to you about 3 easy ways to start really expanding, like elasticizing, right? Like getting all limber with your identity, because it can feel really scary and intimidating. It really can. Like I remember when I first started my business, I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to be a different person and everything's gonna change. And like, what the fuck? What if I don't even like who I become, right? And what I've realized, obviously, over the years is that no, I'm actually becoming more and more who I actually am. I'm actually embracing the parts of myself that I was scared of embracing when I was rigidly holding on for dear life to that identity, right? So it doesn't have to be, it can sometimes be like this huge dramatic thing. And then, but like so many things, it happens in stages and waves. And so it doesn't end up being as like, whatever, like traumatic or full on, usually, as we think it is, right? Because our brain is going to be, because our brain creates this whole story of the unknown and it scares the goddamn dickens out of us, right? So I want to give you 3 really easy peasy fun ways, like little mini challenges that will help you start to elasticize, get it all like taffy like, that beautiful identity of yours, so you can start really, right? Because the more you do that, the more you'll actually be thinking as that person, the more you'll actually be able to receive as that person. Okay, so the first one is, instead of dressing for your current lifestyle and who you are in this moment and your current identity and where you are right now, jump like to the next iteration of you. Like, what, think about your current big goal, right? Is it $20,000 months, $50,000 months? Is it hitting $1 million? Is it hitting $100,000 year? Whatever the fuck that really big, like juicy thing that you can't stop thinking about. Is it getting a book deal? Is it getting a TED talk? Whatever it is, like that really gets you like all giddy. Think about that and think about the version of you and what they would be wearing, right? What would that version of you be wearing right now? How would that version of you be dressed and be feeling and be moving around through their day and their life? I fucking guarantee you that a lot of it will not be at all how you're doing it today. Because the you who has already received or achieved or created that has gone through many different steps and iterations already to become that person, right? It's not the same person. Like, think back to before, probably you were doing like personal development stuff. Like, sometimes I have flashbacks and I'm like, I cannot believe that those were my thoughts and beliefs, right? So the me back then would have never occurred to that version of Ejani to dress as the same as or like to do things in the way that this version of Ejani, fast forward like a few years later, does them, right? She didn't speak the same way. She didn't have the same confidence level, right? So right now, one of the main amazing things you can do to expand your energy, one is start fucking dressing as the badass who has already achieved, received, or created that big, delicious desire. Okay? It doesn't mean you have to go out and buy a whole new wardrobe. However, start dressing as if you already like, damn, I'm hot shit. Like, wow, I'm about to be on TV, or I'm going to speak in front of like a whole group or whatever. Show up as that person, and I guarantee you what you put on, what you wear, and how you like strut your stuff will be totally different from what you're doing right now. Guaranteed. Okay? The next one, it's so simple. The next thing to like expand and elasticize the fuck out of your identity, because again, these tiny little shifts can put us on a whole new path, right? So another thing is to just do things slightly differently. If you walk your kid or go to the bank or whatever, and you always take the same path every day, every time you go there, right? Literally cross the street instead and walk it from there. Go around the block instead and take another route, right? Whatever, notice the houses on that side instead of this side, right? I guarantee that will start. What happens is you start noticing more shit, right? If you are doing the thing that you are programmed to do over and over again, it's very hard to see anything new because you're kind of on autopilot. But when you like start ordering different things at the restaurant, right? Or stop answering questions or engaging in conversations in mundane ways, like, oh, I'm all right, except for this weather, right? How are you? Stop that. Like, answer the question like, how about you ask instead, like, what's your big dream today? Or what's really fucking magical about your life right now, person, right? Let's talk about that. Start making tiny little shifts because they will feel thrilling. They will feel a little bit exhilarating, a little bit naughty, and I guarantee they will help you create new possibilities. They will help because it like, and I love this image, right? But it's like when you're plowing a field, right? There's that like groove, that path. If you keep on sending the ox, I'm going to say ox, they're going to keep dragging it through that same groove over and over again, right? But if you change the course of that groove, if you just change the ox's path by literally like a tiny little centimeter, it can go like it'll end up miles away from where it started. So that's the idea of this, right? You start doing things just tiny bit differently. Maybe in the morning, instead of drinking a coffee with whatever pumpkin spice, you're like, I'm going to just start drinking matcha, or I'm going to start drinking it with whatever, coconut oil, whatever the fuck, right? At my restaurant, instead of getting the regular, I'm going to just literally point and like at something, right? Stop doing what's expected of you, even from yourself. Like, start surprising yourself in these tiny little ways, and I guarantee the way you show up is going to be so fucking different. That will start expanding your identity, okay? Now, number 3, and this is a huge one. So I want you to imagine that like your boundaries, the boundaries that you hold, it's kind of like a container, right? Imagine like a Tupperware, right? And imagine like you have a Tupperware that's this big and you're like, I want to put all these leftovers in it, right? And I'm going to take these home, these leftovers. And then you're walking home and then suddenly like there are like fucking holes all over in the freaking Tupperware. It's all leaky and it's hot also, so the plastic is getting all wobbly. And so what happens? Those delicious leftovers, they start spilling out and through holes, and by the time you get home or even halfway down like the block, it's all over your car. There are no leftovers there, just little like remnants, right? So that's exactly what happens with your energy. If you have all these boundaries that are kind of like flimsy and loose and like tentative and icky, right? You literally, all this magical shit you want to have come in, it cannot be held within your energy, right? So start noticing, like, where am I saying yes when I want to say no? Where am I saying no when I want to say yes? What am I keeping myself from doing, even though it really feels really fucking exciting, right? Start noticing where you are not honoring your boundaries and your desires. And the tighter you can, like, as I like to say, you got to keep your container tight. If you don't keep the tighter you keep your container, the more you can hold. And then when it's super sturdy, it like starts ballooning out, right? It starts like, it can actually, it's so like firm, but also elastic. It's healthy and it's all like juiced up. So it can continue to expand and hold more and more and more of what you desire. Right? But if your container is like all soggy and brittle, like, cause you're holding on, like, cause nothing's really in place and set in stone and you're not supporting yourself with amazing boundaries, then your energy is going to be brittle and it's going to be holy and it's going to be flimsy and you can't like create more within that. Can I get a freaking emoji? I don't know who's there, but I see you, darling, and I request an emoji. Okay. So the more you start stepping up and acting like the person who already has what you want, number one, the more you start doing tiny little things differently, right? Instead of doing a post every Monday or whatever, where it's like manic Monday, whatever tips, you start changing it up and showing up differently, right? The more you start dressing differently as if already you had whatever you want, the more you start like implementing just delicious toy boundaries, the more elastic your identity will become and the more possible it will be for you to receive all the fucking magic you desire. Okay? So let me know, which one of these do you feel like you really could work on? Which one of these is kind of like that kind of felt like a punch in the face a little bit, right? And so just a reminder, this is the work that we're going to be going really deeply into in the iconic sphere. It's a 4-month fucking delicious, mind-blowing mastermind of magic. Hi, beautiful girl. So it's a mind-blowing mastermind of magic, and it's really to help you just truly amplify like what is actually required for you to expand into your fullest like iconicness, so you can really start receiving everything you desire and so much more, and truly start creating quantum leaps. Because it's not just a myth, it's not just a thing. Like when you are exquisitely aligned by doing things like this, you get all of the magic. Like it's mind-blowing because it defies what your brain thinks is possible. Okay? So if you're interested in learning more, send me a private message and I will gladly send you an application. I also have one spot available for my iconic identity one-on-one magical experience. 4 months, you and me getting real iconic, changing the shit out of who you're being and your life and how you move through your world. And then how everything is reflected back at you. It's really fucking delish. So send me a little private message and I'll give you the deets, and I'm off like a prom dress now. Thanks for stopping by.